Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and welcome to Deep Astrology, your weekly astrology forecast for the week of December the 17th through the 23rd of 2019. Thank you so much for being a part of highvibe.tv. If you are a subscriber, you get this show in its full entirety. And of course, thank you so much for supporting highvibe.tv. We have our awesome apps on Apple, on Android, on Apple TV, on Roku, and you can get it on Amazon Fire or just watch it on our awesome website, highvibe.tv. And if you're just on your mobile phone and you don't like to do apps, just type in highvibe.tv on mobile, and it's just like an app. It's really awesome. We have awesome subscription packages as well. And we have so many other shows besides Deep Astrology, of course. And if you've never watched a show, this is where, of course, I channel the astrology of the week and what's coming up. And then we go deep into the charts, which are brought to you by Astro Gold, which you can get on iOS, Android, and, of course, any of your Mac products, your iPads, your MacBooks, your anything Mac. And if you're on PC, make sure that you check out Solar Fire. The show is also sponsored by thewbros.com. This is the awesome collection of jewelry with, of course, rings, and you can also get necklaces with your zodiac sign. You can get it in rose gold, you can get it in gold, and you can get it in sterling silver. It's an awesome gift. I know, you know what? The holidays are right here. You know, you got to think of gifts real quick, and I'm sure you have a bunch of people, if you're watching this show, that are into astrology as well. Honestly, coolest gift that you could ever give anyone. I love wearing my Leo ring. It's my pinky ring. Yo, my little Leo pinky ring. Even though the Leo would probably not wear it here, but I kind of like doing that. My little bougie little moon and Taurus is like, yo, I got my pinky little Leo ring here. Anyway, make sure that you check it out, thewbros.com, and put in the discount code LK10. I also want to just bring up real quick, we are, number one, there's a sale going on. Right now, you can get my Destiny's Call video. It's the preparation to 2020. This video has been out for over 2 months, since October 18th, I think, is when we actually launched it. And these last 3 weeks here before Saturn and Pluto come together, man, that video gets really intense. It builds a whole 2.5 hour story. All of the research I've done over the last decade to help you understand this major doorway we're all going through. So it's on sale. If you go to the paid video section, you can just see it on highvibe.tv on the website, purchase it, download the apps, and watch it through there, or you can Chromecast it through our apps now, whatever that you want to do, or if you want to watch on Apple TV or so forth. And the Jupiter and Capricorn videos are also available. Also, we are going to be doing a New Year's Eve event. It's going to be all about 2020. I'm going to be releasing tomorrow all the information about different speakers, different people that are going to be here. We're going to do it in-house here at the High Vibe TV studios. We're going to have pay-per-view live stream. And of course, we're going to have exclusive tickets with meet and greets, hanging out here. And it's a full day event and going into a live spiritual dance music New Year's Eve party. So if you want to be part of this, I know it's only a couple weeks away. We're coming out with all the details tomorrow. So you're not going to want to miss it. Make sure that you check up on my socials, on my Facebook, on my Instagram, and my Twitter. And of course, we'll be making an email announcement. So even if you just want to, join High Vibe without being a subscriber to get the email on there, make sure that you do that so we can send you the email of the event, or just follow me on my socials. It's going to be so awesome. I am so excited. This is an era of Providence, and this is going to be quite a show that we have setting up for everybody. And even if you can't make it on New Year's Eve, the video, of course, will be available after, you get done with your party or whatever. So, but the whole thing is about the experience. And if you want to go into the next decade with all this intense energy with us as the High Vibe fam all together, and all of us sending the best vibration and having a party at the same time and getting deep and spiritual, this is definitely it. Now, speaking of deep and spiritual, this is probably, as we've been going through every week, and I actually was having a talk with Abby about this in the hallway before I came on Deep Astrology tonight. And I've been talking about this funnel, right? It feels like all the things in life that we've been doing have been coming into this funnel. And every week that goes by, the funnel gets more narrow, more narrow. And I was telling Abby, it was 2 years ago when Saturn, of course, was at the end of Sagittarius. It was in November of 2017. I did Rising Through the Darkness. And it was like I did this, ceremony for people where they watched a fire burn out. And at that point, I saw the funnel. And it's been interesting watching these last 2 years of all the events you've gone through, especially if you think of that Mars retrograde in Aquarius with that lunar eclipse that was halfway through 2018. Like, that was a major turning point in how are you going to take that into this funnel or not, right? You got to really like pay attention to that spot. But what's really interesting to me about all this funnel energy is like every week that goes by, the funnel gets so much more intense as far as like caving in to where it's like you're being slid down a tunnel of your destiny. And it's like, I can imagine how some people might be freaking out right now in life. Like, do I take this road? Now, for somebody that, like, there's other people out there who just have been feeling it, whether it's been intuition or whether it's been astrology or whether they're reading their own cards or whatever. They know they're on the right funnel, they're on the right path. But for those right now that are just feeling like, this door is gnarly, do I want to take this in with me? Yeah, this could bring up a lot of pressure and stress. And that leads me to the understanding of this week. The sun's coming to the galactic center this week, literally Wednesday and Thursday, okay? We have to start to connect with our deeper understandings of where we come from in the universe, why you came here, the big journey that's ahead in our life. This is the last week of the sun in Sagittarius. And this is a big deal because this weekend we have the winter solstice. Or the summer solstice. Actually, it was funny. Right before the show tonight, I got a thing from BBC being like, "This is the hottest temperatures in Australia ever," and I was just thinking, those bastards in their summer, lucky. But there is something to say about this winter solstice being intense. Okay, I have some surprise chart to show you tonight about it, and I have some information that I have been searching everywhere. I've been looking on all of my fellow astrologers out there, and I found a secret in the astrology about what's coming that'll blow all your mind. Not only about this solstice, but about what's happening with Pluto and Saturn that I'll be saving for in the chart part of the show. But I do want to say that, this week, this is your last options of making sure whatever comes in that funnel is the wife that you want. And what's interesting is it's confusing because as the sun comes to this galactic center point, we get Mercury in Sag, which is at its detriment. And here it is, going to square Neptune. Now, Neptune is in Pisces and it's in dignity, so it's strong. And it's cloudy and it's foggy and it's mystical and it's showing you so much of the subconscious, so much of the spiritual at the same time. It's like, trying to drive through, fog is really hard. Is this the right lane? No, it's not. Sometimes you have to use your senses. Sometimes you have to kind of slow down. But Mercury does not want to slow down, right? Mercury is full speed ahead. Actually, all the planets, right, are coming out of shadow periods like Mercury just did. Saturn this week comes to 20 degrees. That's the degree that it went retrograde. Pluto's coming to 22 degrees. It's getting closer to 23, where, this is a major time. Everything is online except for Uranus that's retrograde. So this is confusing, but it's like, it's only confusing if you're not willing to explore yourself factually out of subconscious setbacks, especially as this funnel is getting intense. Jupiter just tried Uranus this weekend. There was epiphanies beyond all. There's no reason to doubt any of the epiphanies that showed up this weekend. Like, I was telling somebody recently, I'm like, think of this as your tattoo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, make this a tattoo in your life. Like, I have that chart in my phone, my iPhone, to remind myself of like, these were the epiphanies and this is what it is, and that's what I got to follow and know. Because the last options here is the sun in Sag. Because when we come into the sun in Capricorn for this solstice, guess what? It's Capricorn lockdown. The sun, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter, gnarly. Those are the three biggest energies, the sun, Jupiter, and Saturn, all on the same side. And then you add Pluto, the supercharger, the turbocharger. On top of all that, the nuclear fusion, boom, right? So, and what is it, exploding and expanding and contrasting? Capricorn, where you're set in stone, like you've chosen the road, right? So you don't want to like use this week to go, I'm just going to keep taking more time in my life to figure this one out. This is not that. I've been saying it for a long time, and I it's kind of weird saying it for so long. Like, you don't have a lot of time. Like, this week, it is it. This solstice, it's over. Like, you're making your choices. And I'm not trying to put pressure on people, but I'm just trying to say, like, Mars in Scorpio is sextiling Saturn and Pluto this week at the same time. And so when you get that, right, you get this whole Mars, you get this whole Saturn aspect, it's about making identification of authority in your life, taking action with authority, but more importantly, owning authority and transforming your life through making smart choices, wiser choices in your life. And with Pluto, transformation is extreme, change. So we are at a big pressure point where you are this week making a change or committing fully to something. It's like, this is commitment, because at the same time that you'll see in the charts, when all this is happening, we got the sun, the galactic center, we got Mars sextile Saturn, we got Mars sextile Pluto. After Mars comes off that Pluto, now it's not making any aspects, right? Then when the sun comes into Capricorn, it's like Mars is just kind of hanging out. So this is it, folks. This is it, and it's happening faster than you ever imagined. Because at the same time this week, Venus leaves Capricorn early, and we get Venus in Aquarius. What? Venus has been in Capricorn, where it's been dealing with all this South Node and Jupiter and all these, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that we had last weekend, like the weekend before. Oh my gosh. So Venus is like, oh, I'm coming into Aquarius. It's time to liberate to feel better, connect with relationships that feel like they're connected on this funnel and on this path towards the destiny in life that you want. But what's very interesting at the same time, as all these big, massive aspects are happening, Venus is going to square Uranus in Taurus. So this is where it's like, are you going to throw yourself in a crazy situation that's going to take you backwards by staying in something of not value anymore and not liberating yourself? Or are you going to liberate yourself and take a crazy wild risk and take the risk towards a better life? I mean, literally Uranus and Taurus, Uranus and Venus would totally rather switch. Okay. This is a very, very, very rare transit. Okay. Very rare, because this mutual reception here is Uranus would rather be in Aquarius, its home sign. Venus would rather be in Taurus, its home sign. And if they were flipped, that's a mutual reception, okay? But when you get a mutual reception square, that's difficult, because it's like, one, you have to be better about understanding that the relationships, the projects, the people especially, because we're dealing with Venus and we're dealing with Uranus, the two planets that deal with people. Both making a major square this week, both a mutual reception. They'd rather be switched over. And this is what is very difficult, is this Uranus energy wants to connect, right? But it's in Taurus. So it's about looking at the quality of your life. Where can the quality of your life step up? When you have Mars in Scorpio, at the same time, this is a lot of fixed energy, right? Mars in Scorpio, Venus now in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus. It's like, this is like, and there's no Leo. So it's like, this is kind of interesting, because Leo is maybe where to look, where it's like, where is the ultimate true heart and love and happiness? Well, it's in having relationships that feel more like friendships that take you better, and with people that make you feel like you're connected, like in true similarity, that you're from the same worlds that are going into a better direction, and you understand the same tools, and you understand the same things to build in life that are creative, that are amazing, and that will make you feel good in your life, instead of making this feel like you are just being, I don't know why I'm getting, like, from my guides, the whole visualization of kind of just like, just hit on your head by a hammer, like just, that's not fun. And so these are all happening right before the sun comes into Capricorn, right as the sun is finishing its journey in Sagittarius. Yes, we've had Jupiter trine Uranus, which I think is great. And even though this week it's still good, like, it's coming off the trine though. It's already happened. And on top of all that, when Mercury squares Neptune, right, it's like, okay, that's confusing. So it puts doubt. It puts doubt about, well, you need to take your mind out of the gutter, and you need to put your mind into soul and spirit and intuition and into signs. Like, where is the synchronicities lining up, and where are they not? Okay, 1. 2, Mercury, when it leaves this position, is going to come into a semi-sextile with Pluto and Saturn. Because as Mercury comes out of 15, here it'll start coming, and it will start to make a semi-sextile, which is a 30-degree angle to Saturn and Pluto. And this is about responsibility now, about the choices you make and determining where the journey goes in your life, whether that's going to be a journey you've already been through or not, because Mercury square Neptune in Pisces can feel a little bit circusy, especially as this week we start with this moon in Virgo, which is also making a square to the sun. It's three-quarter square. And now this three-quarter square is like, if you think of a racetrack, like in 4 turns on the track, we're on the last turn before we come to this finish line, which is going to be a solar eclipse on Christmas or the 26th of December, wherever you are in the world. So this is a pivotal point this week as the moon does its big three-quarter square in Virgo. And this is about which reality makes sense for the journey you want. You can feel and see the realities and the dreams and the hopes that you need to go. We all have to make some sort of leap, okay? No matter where you're at, you're making a leap. Whether you're the person leapfrogging out of tar and disgusting and scary and Neptunian fog, or you're making a leap and a risk to commit to something that you just know in your heart that you believe has been the path, and you're not going to get off that path because you know it's the right path and the synchronicities have been on, and you're going on that path and you're committing to that. So synchronicities, signs, Venus square Uranus, I mean, this is where the electricity has to come too, where it's like, this has to be ignited by a better life. This has to be ignited by something that's of a higher quality. This has to be ignited by what is more connected to your true self and to your true soul. This is a major moment in life. Major. And what's even crazier about that is it gets more major these next couple weeks after this. And that's the whole thing. So it's like, if you really think about it, it's like, holy cow, like this week is that intense? And on top of it, next week, we come into a solar eclipse. The week after that, we build into middle of eclipses, right? And then we come into a lunar eclipse that week after and Saturn, Pluto. So this 3 weeks here is no joke. And this week is the setup. This week, and especially by this weekend, once that sun on December 21st comes into Capricorn, I'll be showing you in the charts, okay? It's going to happen, especially for us West Coasters, December 21st. But believe it or not, this solstice is happening December 22nd for a lot of people. So, kind of interesting to see how the time, and it's interesting because we always go into like leap years on even years every 4 years, right? So, of course, 2020 is going to be a leap year to bring things back to the calendar system with the system of the solar system. That's why our calendar system is bullshit, because it's off with the alignment of the planets and the true time. So you have to realize, like, people's birthdays are happening right now. Like, if your birthday was like, let's say December 22nd, right? Like, it's really on the 23rd because the sun won't reach the degree probably for some people, right? Like, it's kind of funny right now. Like, your actual solar return chart, look at that and look at the date, and you'll be like, wait, what? It's a little off. Like, why? Some people are like, why is my birthday saying it's happening tomorrow when it's today? Well, it's because we're a day off on the time. So that might like kind of freak you out a little bit, which is a kind of weird synchronicity as we're talking about that there's no time left. You're even a day off in time right now where you're losing, if that makes sense. So, like, this is an important moment here where everything that you've been doing in your life, everything that you have set yourself up to, like, this Sagittarius energy is the only thing holding the light left, okay? There's not a lot of light anywhere else, I'm sorry to say. Mars and Scorpio, I mean, I have it, I love it, but at the same time, with Saturn and Pluto and sextile, okay? Like, even Mars and Pluto sextile this week has a minor mutual reception, right? Like, Mars wouldn't mind going to Capricorn, even though it likes Scorpio more. It's dignified there, but it's at least exalted there. And Pluto would rather go into its home sign. Mars and Pluto would switch and have no problem. So when you talk about making the most destined, most radical decisions of your life this week, they're here. And I think that the hardest part about this is by not taking action. You have to take action. Mars is with Saturn and Pluto, which are the closest we've ever seen in our lives, with the South Node and with Jupiter, and especially all, of course, in Capricorn. We've never seen this. We've never even seen this in over a millennium with the South Node. So this is intense. And you know what? It doesn't have to feel scary. The scariest part of this whole entire transit is by the non-actions you take. The scariest part of this transit is by not making a change. The scariest part of this transit is by just not taking action and knowing your true, authentic, pure journey. And that's why the sun at the galactic center is so important. Because it is to where, whether we call that the birth of the universe, whether we call that the understanding of like our true path back home. What's the most interesting to me is on the opposite side, of course, of this is, where the North Node is in Cancer. And this is where you start to see the Milky Way galaxy. The band of it is, you see it from this part of Sagittarius all the way into Gemini. And in Tropic, you see it from that part of Gemini, that part of Gemini and Cancer, all the way going back towards Capricorn and Sag. So this is where all the energy is of our birth and our universe and the thin disk of our galaxy. The way that we look at it, the band that we are around in, we are like seeing it. And what's even weirder, to just go even weirder into all this, is everything is closing in on the sun, right? And the sun is closing in on other planets. So everything's closing in. So that means that the occult, that word scares people. All occult means is hidden or not understood or not seen knowledge. And when you look at the sun in the daytime, you need to start imagining that Saturn and Pluto are with it. You need to start seeing that Jupiter's with it. You need to start seeing that you can't see Mars because we are in a position to where we are closing in as Earth. We are faster than Mars, and now we're making the turn getting closer to Mars. That's why we're having a Mars retrograde in 2020. The only planet that is actually going to be doing anything really to be seen will be Venus. And so that has a lot to do about partnerships and relationships as how we close our day. And we don't want to be closing our day in projects and relationships that are not in alignment with our world we want to be in anymore. Because that'll be the only thing, in these next couple of weeks that we'll be able to see planetary-wise. Period. You're not going to see any other planets. Because Mars and Scorpio, when the day ends, Mars sets, the sun's still up, Jupiter's with it, Saturn and Pluto, you're not going to be able to see as the sun's keeping it close in when it comes into Capricorn. And at least Venus you'll be able to see. It'll be that one brightest star, and that is our Jiminy Cricket. And right now you need to really pay attention to Jiminy Cricket, because Jiminy Cricket literally is let your conscience be your guide. And Jiminy Cricket is in Aquarius being like, what is truly the world and the connection and the excitement and the life force that is going to connect us to a path, a place that just gives you unlimited amount of connection. Options is Sagittarius, but right now you have to see you have a lot of options, but you got to narrow it down because Jupiter is in Capricorn and Saturn's in Capricorn and Pluto's in Capricorn, the South Node's here. And all these beliefs, especially as Jupiter now is heading towards K2, the South Node, like these are old belief systems that you had about partners, about certain situations in your life, about how the path would look, or what the code of conduct should be about it. Or, especially this is like ego to me, now that Chiron's direct. It's like, it's more egotistical to hold on to a story or a belief and try and, it's like a business, right? Capricorn, it's like trying to sell a product that is not selling. You're selling it to yourself. That's it. There's nothing worse than watching somebody still try and sell a product that nobody wants, that nobody gets anymore, or that never did do well. And that's the hard part of Capricorn is, you either succeed or you fail. Why do you think more small businesses fail than the ones that make it? But does that stop you? That just means you change to a different product and you create a different business. But when it comes to the attachments we have in our life, since I would say attachments are a huge part of Mars and Scorpio and Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, the attachments to the way that your ego wants things to go. Why don't you attach that ego towards true desires, needs, and wants that make sense for the funnel that's going to last long term, that makes sense with Venus square Uranus? Let that conscious be your guide of the ultimate connection to a better life, an ultimate connection part that infinitely connects you opposed to disconnects you. Whatever is you're doing right now that is full of disconnection, whatever relationships you're connected to that are actually more disconnected, whatever is not fully all the way rising your vibration to the highest vibration now, this is where you must take your great stand. Now. Because by the time that solstice comes on Saturday night, welcome to Capricorn. Let's take a look at the charts. We're doing things a little different here tonight. Well, I thought I'd be able to. I'm going to have to move this out. 1 second, folks. You know what? I might be able to do this with just one hand. We'll just one-hand it. One-hand it. You know, I do want to say, I should probably adjust here. There's a lot going on. And I know that it could be stressful. But it doesn't have to be so stressful. Because you got to think of life, especially with Mars and Saturn, Mars and Pluto, strategy. You got to think of this like a game. And I know that life is serious, right? And you know, I don't know. I was in chess club growing up, so chess tournaments are fucking serious. I was a swimmer for 13 years with Craig. We took it serious. We both played water polo. Took it serious. There's something to say about how games are not games, really. They're strategy tests and learning how to not only put the practice in, put the work in, but I don't even want to use the term win, but it's about to make sure that you succeed. And so this is about being a strategist right now, and that you have to put your energy fully into the best strategy possible. And this is not where you want to play around with, you know, I've never tried this strategy, or I've already been doing this strategy and it hasn't been working, but I'm going to keep trying it again into this new game. No, that's just ludicrous. Ludicrous. If Einstein were still alive, I think he would be saying to everybody right now, like, remember, like, I think his greatest quote is just, you know, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. And I don't want to, you know, project or call anybody insane, but this is that moment where it's like, if you're just going to double down right now on, you know, some sort, and that's why I think the universe is doing it right here in the week, right before. For many people, and I'm speaking to a lot of Westerners, and I'm speaking to, and I know there's a lot of religions out there, but I'm just saying that the culture of America, the UK, Canada, and most of it, Europe, are the people who watch. And so I'm talking to a lot of them that, why do you think this is happening on Christmas, the build up to it, and the new year? Well, this is where most people do the opposite. They don't strategize. They take it all off. They go, I can't do this right now in my life. I'm just going to sit on the couch and eat my food and get my stocking or do whatever. And I'm not ready to strategize. I'm just going to, you know, not do that. And if you think about how this is all working out, this is all working out in a way to kind of funnel people into sheep, right? Like, how perfect, right? Just let people just not make their choices because they're too afraid, because they'll say, I'll do it after the new year. And that's one of the secrets I'm going to show you tonight, is why you do not want to wait till the new year. Why you do not want to wait till this eclipse? Because what's going on in the helio will blow all of your minds. Let's take a look at the first chart, and we will show you what the heck is going on. And of course, this is the part of the show at the same time that, oh yeah, we're good on that. We good on chart over there? This is the part of the show where if you are watching on YouTube, you can just listen to the audio now. And I'm actually using this mic now because for those that are watching, you're going to get better audio. But for those that are on highvibe.tv, you get this full show where you get to watch me do the charts and you get the whole experience. And I show a lot of things. So please subscribe to highvibe.tv. And for those that are, we love you very much. All right, here's Tuesday. And this is where things are getting intense. Sun at 25 degrees and 26 and 27 degrees is the galactic center point. And I call it all the way till 0 degrees of Capricorn, that zone from 26 of Sag to 0. Now, when the sun's at the galactic center, that is the understanding of the galactic center because of the fact that the sun, where is the sun at in the galaxy? The sun is what is traveling us and all the planets forward. The sun is the ruler. It is raw. It is the all-seeing eye. I mean, that's why it does look like an eye. Have you ever thought about that? Now, here we are on Tuesday, and this moon in Virgo, 11 degrees, making a square over to Mercury, which Mercury is making a square over to Neptune. So we got this T-square going on here. Mental, emotionally, and not knowing where to go with our soul. You do know this moon sees and feels realities that don't make sense, not only to the senses of our soul with Neptune, but to the senses of our mind where it's just not a positive outcome. You don't see any positives anymore. Like, it's just like, I don't see any positive in this direction. What the fuck am I doing? You know, and so it can be frustrating because with Mars and Scorpio now at 19 today and making a sextile to Saturn, yeah, you've got to start making choices. Like Mars and Saturn is about making authority, choices. And we have both these planets in their dignity. Saturn in Capricorn, D, dignity. Mars in Scorpio, D, dignity. Okay? That's a lot. When you get a lot of that dignified energy is trying to teach you that the power of choice is extreme. It's extreme. And it's not something to just mess around with. But when I mean mess around, it's the power of what you mess around with in the positive. Like you want to take action. You have to. We are not going to see a positive aspect to Mars with Saturn for a year. We will not. Except for when I think Mars is in Aries, and actually when Mars is in Aries in June, the end of June, Saturn's already retrograded, and it's like it's retrograde, it's like at 1 or 0, and yeah, I think Mars comes into Aries and sextiles it, but Mars will be with Chiron, and this is the best you can get right here for making the biggest transformational moves in your life. Tuesday to Wednesday and to Thursday. All while the sun is at this galactic center. You have to add all these pieces together. All of them. And these nodes at 8, if you take 8, that's the infinity. If you take 8 and you understand that numerology, that is choice. All right? It's an authority position as well. And you know, Venus has been bombarded. Okay, so Venus has seen the ugliness and the truth of the positives of what is the best roads in your life. So, like, Venus coming into Aquarius later in the week, which will show you, is going to be a big deal. But just here on this Tuesday, there's a lot going on. And so the pressure's mounting emotionally. The pressure's mounting mentally and emotionally, where the mind now has to see, and it's hard because this moon is in detriment, or Mercury's in detriment. The moon in Virgo, you know, it's Earth, but it's mutable, and this is a lot of all over the place energy. And the sun's a mutable sign. It's about to square that, which you'll see in the next chart. So Tuesday is oh my gosh, I'm getting all this information, and what something's about to happen. Something's about to happen. That's the whole feeling. I can feel it. I was talking to Jax right before this. He was like, oh man, something's about to happen. Woo! All right, here we are, the 18th, baby. Woo! Sun at 26 degrees. Here we are. Boom. We start that galactic center. Now, the galactic center, of course, now has moved to 27 degrees, but all of us that are watching this were born with it at 26. But I do want to say that we were entering into the zone, and here is that Mars at 1933. Here is that Saturn at 1952. Guess what? We're still within that sextile, and we are still building it. We are still waxing it up. And you got to remember that this is the waning Mars-Saturn conjunction, okay? Because the last time that Mars met with Saturn was years ago when Saturn was in Capricorn. So we're finishing, like, you've seen a lot of things that have gone on over the last 2 years. You now know all the changes that you need to make, and Mars and Scorpio, this is the first time Mars and Scorpio is going to sextile Saturn here, because last time Mars and Scorpio was 2 years ago, which was the end of 2017. Like, there's something to say that, like, this is a moment for you in your life. This is the first time we're seeing it play out like this since, gosh, the 1990? Yeah, well, we're in 1919, so yeah, 1989? 84, the retrograde in Scorpio. 86. 88, 90. 1990. So that's 30 years ago. Saturn, Capricorn, Mars, and Scorpio, and this powerful of a sextile. And these guys are ruling, all right? Because if you look around the chart, I've been saying this one for the last year, how big 2019 was, of like all this dignified energy. And it's like, when I talk about this funnel, if I were to draw you this funnel, like, think of this funnel like this, okay? And then it's like, what happens? We reach kind of a point, right? And then that shoots us out into wherever we go next, okay? But think about, like, this being let's call it 2012. And then you can do 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This would be 17. Here's 18, where it's like this weird anomaly year about, are you sure? Here's 19. And if you go deep into that, like, we are at this point where it's like, are you going to go into this and take this and think of like this invisible dimensional line, okay? And think about whatever you choose, that's going to be your reality for pretty much ever. I know that might sound crazy, but with this much Capricorn and with Pluto and Saturn, it is the biggest doorway of a whole different dimensional time frame in life, okay? That's why the Mayans talked about 2012, and actually, a lot of people don't talk about the energies of this zone here. So it's like everything in your life that you've been going through, everything is now kind of coming to this point. Now it's about what choice do you make, because you can right now jump to a choice, and if we can see how the universe works, everything is kind of coming into these big choice points, right? Like, if I were to just do it like that, and then breaking off, okay? And then where everybody's making their choices, right, is going to take them to wherever you don't even know, right? Like, this person over here that crosses over, makes this choice here, is going to somehow goes away from that person who might go that way, but there was somebody else who, you know what I mean? It starts, there's going to be intersections that meet on this other side. This is what I mean about the boats, is over here. And this is, I'm going to call this Providence. And there's no coincidence as well that the Mayflower left 400 years ago, starting in 2020, okay? 1620. They ended up in Plymouth but all the people in Plymouth ended up in Providence, Rhode Island. There's a very deep connection going on right now with that, okay? But I just wanted to show you. So the reason why is because that galactic center that we are reaching with the sun is a major deal. And on top of that, the reason why I bring this up is this Mars and Saturn. Like, you have to make choices now, and this is enough energy, generator power, motor power, transformational power, that you can finally make a leap and choose whether this is the funnel you want to go in or is that one. And you're not going to be missing out except on what is not in alignment with destiny. What is wrong with that? We all are going to meet each other on the other side in just a different way. But this is about making the alliances and making the places to where you want to go through that funnel and you want to go through this big, think of these little pods, these big destined moments we're coming into. Gosh, it feels like I microdosed on LSD or something. But if we were to bring a microdose, if we were to bring a pod down, this incubator, I'll call it, okay? Okay? Like, you want to make sure that the energies you're with and the people and all the stuff of what you want to go do, like, we have to go through, if we put that line, and what I'll do is I'll make the line a different color. Okay, that line, so this is the line, all right? Now we're taking it out into kind of a different form. To get through this line, we are being pushed like an egg is pushed through a woman's fallopian tubes into the uterus to an egg coming out of a chicken's butt. Whatever you want to look at it like, okay? And so incubation, we learned this in kindergarten, right? Incubation is then you have to kind of sit in that energy. And so if you're going to incubate the best, the eggs that survived, I don't know if you remember this. I remember this at 5 years old. I don't know if anybody remembers doing incubating chickens in kindergarten. We did that shit. And the eggs that survived were the ones that you didn't keep pulling out and playing with and then putting back in. They need to be incubated the whole time. So this is that moment where you jump into your pod and you just know. And even though it might sound crazy, some people, and think of it like a spaceship now. Now flip this whole thing, and what we're looking at is like a spaceship, and these are escape pods. Are you going to jump into your escape pod at the last minute and put the suit on to get through so you can go into this kind of interstellar space moment, right? Where it's like, you have 20 seconds. Beep, beep, beep. You know, it's like, that is stress. You do not need to do that right now. You think the stress is now? No, the stress is trying to incubate yourself and come out the chicken's butt and then even survive the chicken's butt. You need to be getting that warm energy and be, you know, nice and warm where you're incubated and you could just pop your head out into this new world and go, oh, that was a nice transition. So right now is not it seems the most stressful, but you need to see that when you go beyond this point now, you are in emergency kind of conditions of like running into an alien spaceship, like, oh my God, where's the escape pod? I don't want to be here. Alien babies were everywhere. Ah! You knew. You knew. You know what I mean? You knew. Like, it was all over the place. Like, you knew approaching that ship and stay. What's the scratch on the side? Oh, I'm not going to look at that. What's that one thing on the side? Oh, I don't want to look at that. You knew. And that's, you know, it's funny they just brought this thing up, the era of Providence. You know, like, that's what this event's going to be talking about. It's showing you what's on the other side of this. And I'm going to show you 2020. I'm going to show you beyond. I've done that with Rising Through the Darkness, but I haven't shown you it in the way that you are going to be blown away from. I got some secrets to show you all tonight. But so that's how powerful this Mars and Saturn is get into mature, action-oriented roles. This is a very CEO-like kind of energy. Mars in Scorpio, Saturn, Capricorn. You got to make tough calls, but at the end of the day, they work out. And it's hard with Mercury. Because when we get Mercury, and we get Mercury especially in Sag, which is at detriment, right? So it's opposite of Gemini. It's not seeing the facts clearly, but it is seeing the stories clearly. And if the story that you want that is with Neptune, like, one, it's a magical story, or it's not magical. It reminds me of like, gosh, I can't use, well, Requiem for a Dream. If you ever watch that movie, the movie's gnarly. The music, and the end, the last 30 minutes when the mom starts going crazy. You know, I watched Joker last night. That movie is insane. And the steady progression, I don't want to give away the movie, but like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you have a moment right now, whether it's Requiem for a Dream or it's like, are you going to be the mom that's just taking those diet pills that far to where the fucking, the refrigerator starts going crazy? And, you know, now you're in a town and your arm's about to fall off? Or you've run out of money, so you got to go to a pimp guy who's going to whore you out for money? Like, that's those moments where you're in a space where you're not paying attention, but you knew the whole time, and you knew this road was not going the right direction, and you were mystifying it. Like, you thought it was great. Like, it's going to be fine. No. Mercury square Neptune, and when it's in Sag, is the story has reached a pivotal point to where there is a magical road out and there is a magical road that is not true. And you know that magical road that is not true because there's zero synchronicities. It's a fuck show. But you know what? It's like you're trying to be a magician and be like, I'm going to throw whatever I can at this. Here's my magic wand, my little Apple pen. And you know what? Now you're watching fucking Hocus Pocus, because that's what it is. It's Hocus Pocus. You're Hocus Pocusing fucking, oh, the fridge isn't moving. It's not moving. No, it's just laughing at me. Ha 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 ha. I'm going on the game show. Ha 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 ha. You know, like, oh no. Do not start going there. But with Mercury square Neptune, the positive road is that there's one where there's synchronicities. It makes sense. It might seem crazy, though, because, you know, one thing about being spiritual and synchronicities, when you find tarot, when you find astrology, when you find all these things, at first you're like, this is crazy. There's no way this thing works, right? We're all skeptics. Like, there's no fucking way. But it's like that whole, like, there's no fucking way in a positive, that the story is awesome. Like, I'm sure it must have been crazy to be living in the 1930s when Snow White came out and be like, what the fuck is this motherfucker showing on the screen right now? That stuff's possible. Requiem for a Dream is true. You could right now be so fooled by your own bullshit because you're so afraid. Because Mars in Scorpio takes deep, deep action against fear. Because when you go into the fear and you say, I'm not going to have that anymore, and you use the structure and the father-like wisdom of Saturn and Capricorn, like, this is where I need to make a decision. And you know what? This is where some people might be calling, especially in the feminine energy, or if you're more masculine, or if you're masculine but you're more feminine, like, this is where you might be trying to look for a father figure right now to help you make a choice. Like, I need help. Because it's like, if you don't have that, you know, it's like calling John Wayne. This is where you call John Wayne. Where's the Duke? Fucking get the Duke here. Whoever is the Duke in yourself, or call Dirty Harry. We need Dirty Harry here now. Hey, Clint Eastwood's still alive. You know what? And I love Clint Eastwood because that guy's still making movies in his 90s, and he's still putting people down. Like, you're like, yeah. He's a 5'1", by the way. Like me. But so there is something to say about, you either have that in yourself, or it's time to find the others in the stories and the synchronicities that have that, and have that leadership quality, and have that quality of like, this is how it's going to go. Because Mars, when it's sextile Saturn and Scorpio and Capricorn, and especially with the moon that is exactly squaring in Virgo to the sun. I mean, I'm spending this much time on this because this is extreme, folks. This is not fucking little shit. This is the biggest transit week we've ever seen in our lives in all of astrology, period. And it gets more every week as we get to the funnel, like literally. So with the moon in Virgo, now it's trining over to Saturn. That moon in Virgo is trining over to Pluto. That moon is going to trine over to Venus afterwards, that you get so much love and gratitude and peace and amazing things if you're willing to step forward and make tough calls and choices. And the writing's all over the wall. Mercury square Neptune is going to go on Wednesday and Thursday. So Wednesday, it's like, come on, make the call. You're going to have to go with your gut. Mars in Scorpio, Saturn in Capricorn. Make a gut call for a betterment of your life, for a higher, better, responsible reality. And it's galactic center. It's destiny time at its highest degrees. Because Thursday, boy, oh boy, whew, here we go. The moon comes into Libra after that big sun-moon square. And you don't want to trip and fall with moon in Libra either. But that moon in Libra comes, and it's funky. Are we died? Oh, I speak really loud. So this moon in Libra that comes in is going to cause a lot of weird ruckus, especially about relationships. Because one, Venus is at 29 degrees on Thursday, so it's getting ready to leave, and the 29th degree is a critical degree, and it's off of all these planets. Look at all these planets, right? So Venus has just dealt with all these planets. And the South Node, Venus is ready to come to Aquarius, okay? But this moon in Libra is square Jupiter. It's opposed Chiron. So a lot of these choices this week are all about relationship choices. And I've been saying this since the beginning of, I don't know. You know, I've been saying this for a long time because of the fact that Saturn Pluto met in 82 and 83 in Libra. It's about the relationships we choose. It's about the partnerships we choose, because that's what Saturn and Pluto is ending. As we look at the chart today on Thursday for that day, look at that. 2159, 1959. We were exactly 2 degrees and even closing. Okay? Once you get past 2 degrees and you get to 1 degree, you're going to feel Saturn Pluto intense. And there's no coincidence that the sun is exactly at the galactic center, 27 degrees, the exact degree on this day. And with Mercury at 1532, exactly less than half a degree away from the square to Neptune. So, Requiem for a Dream or Paradise? What are you going to choose? And it's hard because it's going to be tough emotionally if you're so connected to somebody even when they're starving you to death in Capricorn or eating you alive. Because what is Capricorn with Saturn? It is Kronos eating his babies. And you know what? I'm not afraid to show it. You know what? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to show, like, Kronos. Like, why not? Why don't we, Kronos eating baby. All right, let's look at some beautiful pictures of Kronos eating his children. Okay? Not fun feeling. No. I don't know what side I'd rather be on. To be honest with you, I'd rather be the kid getting eaten, because at least I know I didn't do anything wrong. You know? Even though you think, like, oh my gosh, the child. I mean, look at the eyes of Kronos. Look at his body, his elderly body. You'd think with somebody with such elderly wisdom that they'd be smart enough not to eat a child. What's hard about this is you are starting to see, you know what? Let's just do this one. Like, let's just, continue. Here's another one, right? So if you notice in a lot of old alchemy pictures and you look at Kronos, like he He's got the blade, but where do you see this blade? Okay? I'll give you just like 1 second to think about it. The Grim Reaper, okay? This is where the Grim Reaper gets his blade, right? Because this is also the blade that, Saturn, you got to remember, we didn't know about Pluto till 1930. So Saturn was the end of your time on your destiny of this life. So Saturn came to reap. Where do you get the Grim Reaper? Reap. Came to reap you out of the reality, okay? And see how he's reaping the child? This one's I don't have a favorite. I mean, here I am sounding like I'm some fucking gosh, it's like they almost don't want to show you that one because that one's the most descriptive. I think that's like the best original one there is. Hold on, I bet you we can image it. Oh, yeah, here we go. Right? So why am I showing you all this? We can look at it in multiple ways. One, with the moon in Libra, you are dealing with a person or relationship that is literally eating you alive. Especially if you're in relationships and you feel like there's something that Mercury and Neptune's showing you the truth. You're going to wake up and realize that an incubus or succubus energy is taking you alive. With the moon, which is squaring Jupiter, and Jupiter's in Capricorn. So it's giving you a harsh lesson of reality of where your emotions are off alignment. 2, Chiron in Aries. It does not look the way you want to at all. And you saw somebody and you saw that person in a different light, but the truth has come out and it's a wound. It's like, ugh. So there's a spiritual, esoteric place to look at this too. That would be that in your life, if you are not going to make choices in your life towards a more responsible road that you know is the path that you must go on, it's going to feel like, you're being eaten alive down a road that you don't want to be on in your life. You know what I mean? Because you're not weighing it out correctly, or you're not truly listening to where peace and harmony really is, which is actually in peace and harmony, right? Like peace and harmony. You think that Libra is like a sign that's just weak. It's not. Libra is a cardinal sign, and it takes initiative to get to peace and harmony. You just don't get to peace and harmony by just sitting around and putting on a white robe and meditating, okay? It's a cardinal sign. And with the moon here, you have to take emotional action based upon what you see is a better picture where you're not going to feel eaten alive or somebody's taking you over you eaten alive, especially with Mars there in Scorpio, right? It's been adding to that kind of desire, that edge nature to Saturn and giving Saturn that edge to want to be hungry and to eat too. But with Mars now at 20, now it's at the midpoint between that Saturn-Pluto, 20. So now we're getting Mars activated intensely with Saturn and Pluto energy, which are malefic. So these are all 3 malefic energies, Mars, Saturn, Pluto. We also have the moon that is going to make hard square, right? And it's going to square the nodes. So Thursday, especially with the sun at the galactic center, is I would call it the choice, because Mars, by the time it reaches Pluto, you want to use that as kind of an exciting transformational aspect. And the positive of this with the moon in Libra is this could lead you to the most ultimate path, the most ultimate peace, the most ultimate beauty in your life, especially with Juno there. But there's a lot of tension, because if you look around, like not only is Mars making a semi-square over to the moon, but we've also got Mars, making a semi-square over to Jupiter. So, it's like there are not a lot of options. Mars semi-square Jupiter? No, there's not. It's Jupiter and Capricorn. It's like, what? And Mars in Scorpio is very fixed and pretty determined on what it wants. So it's like your choices are between 1 and 2. It's not like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 anymore. That was Jupiter, Venus, and you funneled yourself somehow. You're gonna wake up and realize with this Mercury square Neptune this week, like, wow, it really has come down to kind of like this and this. Like I'm either on this one or I'm not. I'm either choosing this person and choosing that project or choosing this road or choosing that home or choosing this city I'm moving. I mean, you have to look at your own chart, but it's like there is like this there's a doorway that you are focused the motherfucking on, and you have to make this, you're making the biggest call of your life, whether you're going to open that door or not. And if you're not going to open that door, then you're choosing what's on the other side of that door and living with that. Period. I know that might sound crazy, but that's where we're at. And that moon in Libra is the only thing that will save us, because it is balancing out the chart, number one. So we get energy on all four corners. We get energy that's filling in the gaps, right? So it's a well-balanced chart. And Libra is balanced, and Libra is making a call in your life, especially about choice and what is, I don't even want to use the judgment, but it's the judgment of what is the right road and what is not the right road. And emotionally, you will feel the right road, even though you might make the choice to go through the door that you feel is right, and you know it's right, and you go through, and it might feel uncomfortable because of you were so comfortable in a horrible world, or you were so comfortable in a world that you didn't want to be in, or you were so comfortable in, a space that you didn't want to be. So it's like, but actually, if you're willing to feel, because that's where the North Node of Cancer comes in, and that's why the moon is squaring the nodes. This is intense. This is intense. This is preparing us for the eclipses. And whether it's going to be a peaceful ride or not. That's why I'm saying do not wait for the eclipses to make your choices, because it's by this point. And if I mean, there's so much to look at this chart. It blows my fucking mind. The other thing that's going on too is with Uranus at 251 and with now Neptune at 16, we are at 46 degrees. That's semi-square. Why do you think that the media, Neptune and Uranus, it's all confusing and crazy, and we are going to see the craziest, most radical things in the media again, like we saw in 2017 and 2018. Especially with all this government stuff, yeah, that's going to be a distraction. The number one thing, though, is for you right now, because we're about to go deal with chaotic aspects, is find home emotionally. Find your home. Find that doorway. Find your incubator now. Stop fucking around. You know what I mean? So Venus leaves Capricorn on Thursday on its last day in Capricorn, and it gets ready to come into Aquarius. So we're going to show you that now. Now, here we are, Friday, the 20th. Sun, it's in the galactic center zone still. It's not the exact degree, but it's in the zone still. Pluto goes to 22 and Saturn goes to 20. So now we have these planets. Saturn's getting ready to come out of shadow, meaning we're going to see Kronos. You just saw him eat a baby? Oh, yeah, he's at full strength. And he's got Pluto coming, right? We've actually never saw that in our lives. So the moon at 19, sure, it's going to be making good aspects to Mercury. The Mercury-Neptune's over. That's why I'm saying Thursday is such a big choice day. Because it's like, that's where you see, you wake up and you either are excited of the new beautiful future, or you're like, what the fuck, I need to make a choice now, but it's harder because the moon is going to be squaring Saturn. The moon is going to be squaring Pluto. Venus is going to be in Aquarius. And it's like, are you having the excitement that you want in your life? Or are you literally going through electricity, storms? I mean, I guarantee you the weather is going to be crazy Thursday into Friday. Guaranteed. Okay? But are you ready to have lightning bolts just strike you out? Or are you ready to have electricity to a liberation? Like, this could be the most, because with the moon, even though it came into Libra, it did not trine Venus in Aquarius. So Mars now is heading towards Pluto, right? Major commitments. With Saturn is a commitment, but Pluto is like the ultimate emotional depth. And the sun at 28, like we are just days away from this. And so Friday is hard because we don't get the moon and the sun. We get moon and Mercury, which is just very quick, but we have to have the moon with Saturn square, the moon with Pluto square. And that's difficult. It's also creating quincunx over to Neptune that day. And so, it's like we can go into a magical, beautiful world, or, we are realizing we are at the epitome of, you still have options, folks. That's why I'm saying this week, you got it. I'm just trying to show you, though, that by this point, with Jupiter at 4 degrees now, which is 4 is a wild degree, believe it or not. A lot of people in numerology think it's stable. It's only stable once you make the crazy decision in your life to go forward. Okay? Forward. So, this is going to be intense times right here. Venus in Aquarius, so it is only going to make sense logically, spiritually, and electric-wise. Venus likes Aquarius. It's dealing with people, but it's getting ready to square Uranus, right? You can see that square already building right here. Bam. That's a 90-degree angle. So, we're at 88. Even more interesting, 8. And where are the nodes? 8 and 8. Cancer, Capricorn. So you need to align with your home and your emotion and your destiny and your path together in order to come to this. And every 88 days, ironically enough, is the retrograde of Mercury, and the time that Mercury takes to come around the sun is 88 days. That's why astrology is ruled by Mercury. So that's just some crazy esoteric knowledge for you all, and I'm just showing you that there's no synchronicities in the universe. There only is synchronicities in the universe. So we come to Saturday, and this is it. This is 7 years since the galactic shift of the Mayan calendar, December 21st, 2019. Okay? 2, here's the moon in Scorpio now. Oh, it's going to oppose Uranus, and it's going to square Venus? So the universe is pounding Venus hard, okay? The universe is pounding Mercury hard. These two energies are your mind and what feels good, and your relationships and what makes sense and what doesn't, and what are you going to do here? And here comes this moon in Scorpio, which is at its fall position, okay? Where, you know what? It's going to hurt, or it's going to be transforming pain into pleasure of choices that are electrifying better and connecting, or it's going to be pain because you feel so disconnected. You're in a chaotic, crazy situation with your way to feel better, a relationship, and it is square over to Uranus that makes you feel like you're not being valued and you're going backwards. And at this point, with the last day, this is where this is the last call. You have from the, and this is all, of course, Pacific Standard Time, so it'll be December 22nd for those on their Sunday in Australia, let's say. But it really is this is it. And when I was telling you all about Mercury at 18, right? Here it is starting to semi-sextile over to Saturn. You've got to make choices that make sense. And this is where it could go really good or it could go really bad. And look at that. Lilith on Chiron. It's going to hurt like a motherfucker or liberate you and heal all of your wounds. Can't make that one up. Lilith goes like this. Okay? It's been doing this between Neptune and Chiron. That's why we have been stuck in between a weird zone. The zone in between here is fucking weird. And this is where the moon and the sun will square if you were to look at the square points and the opposition points. Weird zone that we start this week off with. We're going to feel weird, and we're going to end with you either went into your incubator or you stayed in the spaceship and you're going to deal with the alien babies or not. Straight up. Because that moon in opposing is not easy. But you got to connect, and you got to be willing to feel deep the connection that you want. You have to be willing to make this is going to be wild stories for people. We're going to see wild stories in the world like we've never seen before in our lives this week. Ever. Wild. This is unpredictable city. This is going to be the beginnings of, wow, this shit is real. Astrology is real. People are going to be saying astrology is fucking real. Straight up. And it's no coincidence it's happening on December 21st, 2019. 7 years. 7 is the number of spirituality in numerology. And that Mars is with Pluto, ready to make your change. It's half a degree away. Pluto is at 2203. There's Mars, 2133. Okay? It's an exact sextile. That's it. That's the last call. Like Pluto is demanding in Capricorn, like a CEO to a warrior, or like a commander to a warrior. Like, are you on our team? Or are you gonna go on that other team? Like, are you coming in or are you coming out? Like, what's the all right, I'm going in. It's like you've got to know. Don't Five of Pentacles yourself here. Please do not this is a Five of Pentacles chart. If I were to ever call it, or it's, gosh, I'm trying to think of some sort of cool liberating, it's Judgment card chart with Five of Pentacles for the tarot nerds out there. Here's where it all ends, folks. 8:20 p.m. Pacific. December 21st, sun comes into Capricorn, and that's locked and loaded. And it's the exact moment, too, where Venus is now at 2, squaring Uranus. That becomes more chaotic or not. The moon is going to be in Scorpio with Mars. And what's interesting is here's that Mercury at 19 in the semi-sextile like I was talking about. But here it is, the sun and Jupiter, South Node, Saturn, and Pluto. So when you add Sun and Jupiter are the two biggest energies, and you add Saturn, the third biggest, and then you add Pluto, the supercharger, on top, and then you add a lunar South Node of K2 on top, like this is heavy, and it's all in the iron, okay? Iron. It's the bottom of astrology, the bottom. Because if you were to turn a chart, with Leo and Cancer at the top, right? So we're going to have to draw. I'm doing this all with one hand. So, so if I were just, I've done this before, but I have to remind people, Leo, Cancer, okay? And then if you go down here and we go Cap, and we go Aqua, okay? And then we'll just fill in with just, P for Pisces, A for Aries, and then we can go Taurus, Gemini, okay? Then we can go Virgo, and then we can go Libra. Oh, sorry, we're gonna wanna go Libra here, the cardinal points. Okay. And then we're gonna wanna go Scorpio, and we're gonna wanna go Sag. Okay. So what I'll show you here is these cross sections, the sun, the moon, Saturn, okay? Then you get Mercury, okay? Then you get Taurus, you get Venus, right? All right, so we get the, oh gosh, I can't even draw it right now, so we're just gonna do Venus. Okay, then you get Scorpio, you get Mars. Then you get Mars over here in Aries. This is how the planets funnel down, right? And then you get Jupiter, okay? So this is how the planets funnel down from the mother and the father. That's why Mercury is the ruler of astrology and is the best friend of the sun and the moon. It's neutral. It's on both sides. Mercury is the only one with the sun and the moon, okay? Venus is not, right? Mars is in the lower quadrant. That's why it's a malefic. Jupiter sits between the two malefics and is bigger than both, is why it's benefic. Saturn is the dead physical world we live in called carbon. This is the ethereal. Okay? So, This is the higher vibration. This is the lower vibrations. And they meet in the middle of Aries and Libra, which are the balance beams. And these are, if you see in tarot, you'll always see the pillars or you'll see them, and you'll see a B and J. No, I'm not talking about BJs. But you'll see that these are the points of, not only in astrology, but they talk about it in the Bible, but like these are the gates to heaven and hell. Okay? And the higher vibration or the lower vibration. And the fact, what I'm trying to show you is down here in Capricorn, Aquarius, right? Let's go look. This iron Aquarius Venus now, it's all in hell, or the lower physical vibration. And with South Node, it's making it the illusion of the physical. Because one thing about it is South Node becomes physical. North Node is what we're trying to attain and have. So it's the farthest away, and it's in the ethereal. And look at that. I mean, it's all coming in. Even Mercury's going to come join this party soon. On Mars, over these next months. This is going to be intense. So at this point on this solstice, though, you need to realize that the next 3 months, 3 months until the Aries one, it's Venus square Uranus. It's about wild relationships that might be crazy and exciting or backwards. 2, it's the moon in Capricorn. It's either going to, and it's square there, but it's the moon, moon in Scorpio with Mars in Scorpio. Like, you emotionally need to have what you really feel in your deepest desires, needs, and wants. And actually with Mars sextile over to Pluto, to actually have them instead of be feeling like you are denied them, because Capricorn denies or gives everything. It's reward or loss. And it'll be by what you made the choice at this point. Because I don't have much battery left, so as we come into Sunday, there's that moon and Mars getting closer. Here's Venus coming off Uranus, like, done. Boom. That's why I'm trying to show you that, like, this is in the morning on Sunday, the 22nd. So that's what I'm saying, like, that moment of the solstice is it. That's your choice. Mercury at 20. Okay. Mercury's flying. We're all moving out. Saturn's coming to out of its station, or its shadow period. Pluto's at 22. You know, like, this is you going to emotionally face hardship because you're either denied because you chose something that you're not fully into, or you chose something that you are just like, fuck yes, hell yeah, motherfucker. And when we move to Monday, here we are, the dark moon. And we're right before an eclipse, because Christmas is 2 days away, and on the 25th, we're going to have an eclipse on the West Coast. It's going to be 26th anywhere else. Guess what? Dark moon and Sag. This is where you can't bail out of your incubator. You made your choice, and you got to get your beliefs set, and you got to let go of the old beliefs. Chiron's in trine, so you're okay. Venus is there to make sure you're all right. You're connected. Remember this connection. And that's what I'm saying. Connections, relationships are a big part of this deal. You want to have the connections in your life. You don't want to make a choice to go without knowing that, you know, you have somebody there, or you have friends there, or you have people there. Going this alone would be tough. And that sun at 1, we're in. It's all Capricorn now. And that, you're going to see, this is going to be the craziest shit. This is not going to be like your normal ho, 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 Christmas time, going into Christmas village, like, it's going to go see Santa's village. I guess for sheep energy, yeah. But Mars there, done with the sextile to Pluto that day. So that's going to be, here you go, here's the change, and making it happen. Now, what I wanted to show you, the secret, and I have more secrets to show you, but of course, I am doing a big event with a lot of other people, which we'll be announcing tomorrow. But I just want to show you the transits for the exact moment of the solstice in Helio, which blew my mind today. Okay? Right here, December 21st, 2019 at 8:20 p.m. in LA is what I did it for. Mars. Now remember, this is the sun. Okay? It's the sun. All right. Mars is exactly at 29 of Libra. So it's about relationships. 2, Venus is in Pisces, exalted, but it's on Neptune. This is about dream unions or catastrophe unions, ones that are either taking you down the sludge or ones that are taking you to the ethereal of Pisces. 2, Jupiter is trine Uranus. Exact. Liberation by choosing the people that are better in your life to explore the roads you really want to go down in your life. Saturn and Pluto are at 22 and 22. Look at that. They become exact conjunction exactly on the day of the eclipse, January 10th, the lunar eclipse, 2 days before the geochart Saturn-Pluto conjunction. That lunar eclipse is going to be gnarly. So you don't want to be fucking around because this Mars in Libra is, it is a hard point. But like you can't sit and weigh everything out too long. You're going to have to choose a side because once Mars leaves Libra, it comes into the darkness. So it comes in Aries, right? Now that's from an Earth point of view understanding, but that's how we understand the signs. And here's so see why it says 0, 0, 0 here with the Earth? That's because that's the moment. Because technically, from the sun's point of view, Earth, right, is in Cancer because we're looking from Earth's point of view, we're looking at the sun in the sky. So imagine this is the sky, and behind it, there you are. That's where you get the whole Capricorn, the 0 Capricorn. Okay? So here that is, and it's trine, the moon, the sun, the Earth is trining Mars in this chart. Gnarly to me. This is gnarly. This is amazing. It's about who you choose in relationships. I've been saying this shit for fucking years, and I just finally was like, finally, I have more proof. And it's T-squared to Chiron. You are going to heal by taking on and just trusting these weird identifications that spirit is calling you upon, relationship-wise, project-wise, that are different. Go different. Go weird. Go unique. Go where nobody understands. Go into that. That's what this decade's about. Nobody understands it. Don't play the game. By playing the game fully, play the game and know the rules, but do it by using the most amazing, radical, different stuff that Spirit has shown you and funneled you towards. That's your big choice this week. And when I see you all next week, I mean, we're going into eclipse time. It's going to be where, to be honest with you, I'm waiting for Spirit to tell me how to deal with how to do the horoscopes for people in general and for the collective, because there's going to be a split in the collective. That's how serious this is. I've never in my life had to channel a horoscope where I feel a split in the collective. Of people who really were awake, really chose, made the right moments, and we're all going into that eclipse time. And that's why I said it's the most intense from December 25th through January 12th. But you do not want to be making choices within there because you're trying to jump into eggs that are incubated that are going through the portal. Like it's like you would have to jump through the portal and try and nobody has like a tether for you. Nobody's going to be like in an incubator like, oh, wait, what's going on out there? Somebody's knocking on the door. Like, where's the doors in this incubator? Where's the doors in this egg? You might be crotch rocketing it. Like, I'm holding on to the egg as we're going through. And you might come out like, I made it, but fuck. Like, you don't want to go through that. There's so many options right now this week. With the Galactic Center, you got to trust in Spirit, though. This is all about trust in Spirit, especially in that Helio chart, especially in all the other charts. So I dare you to go watch Requiem for a Dream tonight. Or wherever you are, wherever you're at right now when you're finally watching this, I dare you to go watch that movie and see if you're going to fall into, when you hear that music at the end, when you see things going weird, Where is it going weird in your life in that direction? Where is the universe showing you that is weird? Now, if you're like, that's not showing to me anywhere, then you got to take a look at, well, where is it to where you feel like you could start slipping down that direction? You already feel maybe there's a little bit of energy slipping you down that direction. And to make changes in that position. Now, the positives, if I were to tell you a movie to watch to help you understand this week better, would be something where you have to make a hard choice, but it turns out amazing. And that you have to believe and you just know. I was going to say Seabiscuit or Babe. I know Babe's come up before, but Babe, right? Like the owner of Babe, the pig, like the owner of the pig, like he knew. And he went with his gut. And everybody made fun of him, and nobody understood it. Nobody got it, and that was the best pairing ever. Not even the sheep in that movie got Babe until the end, and then they fucking loved Babe. And then they followed Babe more than they ever followed a sheepdog in their life. And it made no sense, but it was the most divine union. Charlotte's Web, another one. A spider and a fucking pig saving a pig from being eaten. Charlotte's Web. There's something about these unique connections right now that makes no sense, but they do more than what normally is seen. That makes sense. It makes no sense that you're hearing your astrology from a guy who looks like me, who talks like me, and all that shit. Because that's what we were taught in our perceptions of the South Node in Jupiter of what we're supposed to believe. Why do you think the school systems, all this stuff, it's just all like, what the hell is going on right now? There's a new way for us to see the world. And I want you all to be part of that new world. And I do not want you to miss this. And I do not want you to be stuck. Because there's not much that can happen in Capricorn as far as shift-wise. Because it's not a shifting energy. Yeah, it's a shift energy for the world. But it's a shift energy in your life if you choose the path that you're on and you choose the story. Because the reason why choice is of Capricorn is because how I just gave you a movie to choose. Once you put that movie in, sure, in society today, we found a way to have to, we don't have to use VCRs. We don't have to rewind anymore. We don't need to pull the DVD out. We can just literally on our phones just say stop and find another movie. But that's not really how this is working anymore. You got to think of it from a physical reality. Like once you've made that choice in the movie theater and you've got that seat and it's sold out and it's like one movie theater, let's say, like that's your seat. That's where you're watching that movie from. Think of it like that. And that could be a terror movie, a horror, or it could be the most beautiful movie of your life. And that's where this choice is this week. I appreciate you all very much. Thank you so much for being a part of High Vibe. We got After Dark right after this. Make sure that you check all the socials out on High Vibe socials, my socials at the Leo King. We're going to be announcing a huge event, New Year's Eve, High Vibe 2020 live event, the Era of Providence. It's going to be awesome. We got a lot of surprises. Destiny Call the video. If you want to watch that this week along with this video, please send this to your friends and family or people that you know are going down some weird roads to help them. Please. That are watching this on YouTube, even if you're just getting this audio part. It is like a podcast, right? Please. Or just subscribe to High Vibe and you can watch this video in entirety and all the other videos that are there to help you every week, every day. We got all the notifications, everything. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for being a part of the High Vibe family. Thank you so much for supporting me through all these years. It blows my mind because I remember doing a horoscope on December 21st, 2012. You know what I mean? Like I remember doing that. I remember doing a documentary on that. If you want to watch that, it's free on YouTube, The Astrologer's Tale. Did a whole entire documentary on 2012 and living through it and filming it while it was happening. That's what I was doing 7 years ago this week. I was filming my own documentary with one camera by myself. So, very alone. in my life. Interesting. I love you all very much. I'll see you on the next Deep Astrology.